Hello there, fine people. Hope that you're doing really well. I've had a few days off from doing all of my content stuff. Not done any blogging, not done any video, not engaged, not messaged anybody on Twitter. A total rest. And during said rest, which I suppose is you could characterize it as a little bit of work, but as I experienced the various emotions that came up, I wrote them down, and you can see those on my Instagram channel. I'll put it on my Twitter as well. But yeah, it's really interesting to actually find out what's really going on up there. And one of the words actually that I wrote down, and I could have done an experiment where I wrote down how many times I experienced each emotion and a sort of psychological state. But one of the things that I wrote down really early on was jolt. Oh my goodness, this kind of quite violent sort of awakening to the fact that I was just literally having a few days off. And I actually thought about doing it for an entire week, maybe to the end of this week, and really experiencing what it feels like to just reconnect with myself. And it always throws up just how violent and judgmental we can be towards ourselves. One of the big lessons that I learned out of the experiment of having a few days off, but also in my recent therapeutic work, is all of the prisons that I've found myself in. They've all been basically of my own creation. And one of the prisons, perhaps the biggest one, is people pleasing, which I've talked a lot about on these videos. But I think it's a really powerful but negative motivator. And the really great thing today is, after having these few days of purely doing what I spontaneously want to do in the moment, I woke up today and I felt I stayed in bed for a little while, and I was just sort of letting everything churn over. But what I actually found myself feeling was this fantastic sense of determination and peacefulness, actually, at the same time. And I went back to my gym equipment that I haven't used for over a month, and got back to doing a really good training session, refueled the system, and came out for my walk. I've recorded my videos. Now, the thing with these YouTube videos, one of the things that I'm considering, because I have been doing them on a daily basis, one of the things that I am considering doing is actually reducing the frequency, so that maybe I do 3 or 4 videos a week rather than every single day. Because I think what's actually a really important thing to do is to not make things arbitrary. It's like, oh, I've got to do this every day. Well, you could look at it that way and create sort of a job out of being a content creator. But you could also look at it that record something meaningful when you've got something really important to say. I thought that to myself, and this will be an experiment as well, because there are YouTube channels that do videos every single day. I watch, for example, former Coast guy, Neil Oliver, and former GB News presenter. Is he? I don't know. But anyway, if he's still there, then he's still there. But basically, Neil Oliver, and he does 2 videos a week. and Casey Hopkins does 3, and Chris Williamson of Modern Wisdom, that I've started watching again, he does about 3 videos a week. And everybody, this is you'll find that people always want to be doing more, but if you're doing things consistently, I think this is what I'm really coming down to, is there are things that we do in our lives, you know, by our own choice, that are good things to do in and of themselves, and they have huge benefits. Like training on my gym equipment this morning felt really, really fantastic, because it's a little bit of positive discomfort, if you can have that, but it's resistance training. It makes you feel a bit powerful. It makes you feel that there are things that seem impossible that you can overcome. There's a psychological benefit to training as well, obviously, as a physical benefit. And all of these, the various things that you do in your life, you want to make sure that they're all feeding you positively in some way. And like with gym training, there are various styles of training that you can do, but what you want to be doing is the main compound lifts and then adding a bit of flavor with some isolation exercises. But you want to be doing the big moves on your legs, on your back, on your chest, or the various, you know, parts of you. And I think it's a good way to look at life, is to be always covering the basics, and then being the person that goes that little step further, going the extra mile, and having a holistic kind of lifestyle, and create the lifestyle that works for you. Because I mentioned actually that I hired a sales coach recently, and you never quite know what an experience with somebody is going to be like until obviously you actually do it. But it will always help to crystallize in your mind the strategies that are going to work in the way that you want to do them, in the way that you will be able to consistently do them, to enjoy doing them as much as possible. And it's a constant unfurling. We don't know all of the answers. We don't have all of the answers at our fingertips, but a willingness to actually give things a go, see how they work, take the wisdom from it that you need to, and have the courage to say, because I don't care what anybody says, it does require courage. If you've been a people pleaser like I have, it does require courage to say, right, okay, thanks very much for that advice. Some of it's quite useful. This isn't working for me. How do we negotiate this? How do we make it that the process will work for me? You know, employ people. Make sure that you're getting out of it what you need. In everything, forget what the outcome is for the other person, frankly. Look at it from your own point of view, and be in the situation, you know, actually embody your own self-determination wherever you are. And of course, it's going to be different. It's going to be different in different situations, but wherever you are, be there. Don't be a guest star in your own life. Be the leading man. Always. It's your life. And I fundamentally hold that individuality is the absolute best way to go. Because if you show that you can achieve things and you can inspire that in other people, well then we have win-win relationships. There's no winning if you're constantly setting yourself up to just serve other people. You have to serve yourself first. And saying this stuff out loud really makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. But when you actually observe most people's behavior, they're acting in their own self-interest, but often it's, you know, it's not very conscious, it's not very awake, it's not particularly enlightened. You know, enlightened, lit up, alive, awake, shining, burning bright. Always remember that. It's your life. My favorite phrase in the whole world, because I'm teaching myself that it's my life, because I've always wanted only to make other people happy, to not bother people, but learn, frankly, to bother people, because you're not going to please all the people all the time. Ever. It's just not possible. It's not possible.